City Guide Service, going to talk about the snapper auto hook system for ice fishing. How these normally come is folded up like this. They're nice and compact. I used to have automatic fishermen's. They're a little more cumbersome to carry around. These are about the size of a normal tip up. But how these, I'll show you how these fold out. So you have a big knob here. You loosen that up. There's a few adjustments you got to make when you first get it, but I'm showing how to deploy it like you're going to go fishing. And I kind of marked ahead of time. I set up a lot of these, and I used the Sharpie to make a mark on where they should be set up. So I'm just going to move it to that line, and this is your base here. Just tighten that up. So that's your stability foot there. The next thing you're going to do, there's a fold-up handle in here. Loosen up this knob and flip this around. And then this plate here, this little knob, you can adjust your plate to adjust your angle of your rod holder. So I'm just going to tighten that up. I already pre-measured this as well for the rods I'm using. And the next thing you're going to do is the trigger system here. There's a little wing nut there that holds that in place. You can just kind of shake it loose, and there's a little wire guide where that trigger goes through. Next, I'll show you how to adjust the rod and set it up. Okay, so a few tools that they send with the snapper. This is a tool to adjust the trigger pin, and I'll kind of explain that in a little more detail. And they send a little wrench to adjust your nut here on the end. And where you want to adjust this, there's actually a flag that comes with it. I don't use the flag, but there's a flag, and you want to have a little bit of thread there for the flag trigger to reach under there. But one recommendation I would say is get a nice number 8 metric wrench, a little ratchet wrench. It's going to save a lot of frustration when you have to adjust that nut. So what I've already done is I have this rod already adjusted, but this little tool has a slot, and it fits right over this pin, and you can bend it forward or backward depending on where you need to adjust it for your rod. And this tool is important to use. It won't gnar up this trigger. If you use a pliers, you're going to have gnarring in there. So use the tool they give you. So how you set this up is I have a slackline bobber. I have this is actually a dock runner, ugly stick dock runner. Rob Wenzel down at Lake Michigan Angler recommended to use these rods. They're very affordable, and they do a good job on the snappers and the autos. Okay, so we have everything set up. I already have the trigger adjusted. What you do is you bend your rod down, and you make sure your line is going through this little U right here. And the rod is actually, it's a pretty hair trigger here, but you can see the tensions here holding the rod up. And I'll show you what happens when a fish takes the bait. This is the slackline bobber. And you can use different sizes. If it's windy, you want to use a bigger bobber. Using bigger shiners for northern pike, you want to use a heavier bobber. Something like this, they'll pull it right up right away. But what happens is when the fish takes the line, that bobber starts to climb up, goes off just like that. Another important thing is set your drag so when you're about 6 inches from the surface here, or the ice, you want to hear that drag pulling. So when a fish pulls that line, they can pull the drag and they don't knock over the holder. But it's a great setup. You know, it adds a definite fun factor to fishing tip-ups, and you can run over. And my son caught a bass yesterday. He saw the rod go off, ran over, reeled it in. It was a lot of fun. So I highly recommend the snapper. Got a fish on the snapper. what you got, bud. Nice bass. Nice bass. How about that? August caught his first bass today on the ice, on the snapper. Good job.